hopefully y'all had a chance to listen to Dr. West last week in the call of short-term rentals. Still massive opportunity, especially in different areas of the United States. And so I've been talking to him I talked to him a fair amount anyway, but last month and a half, my wife and I were like, we got to get something in Naples. That's an area that's very affluent. Even if the economy goes down, like this, just the affluent people still buy and consume. And so we were doing some reverse engineering in this area that we actually 3 days ago, we have a home now under contract there, short-term rental. So pumped about that. And preliminarily, just to give you an idea, we're going to probably throw, so it's 1.1 million. We'll throw 25% down on this. And then we've got everything all in. We calculated conservatively about $7,500 per month. That's what we need to meet. Now, and from talking to other agents in the area, from doing reverse engineering, because there's different tools and software where you can literally see what people are renting their houses for and what's actually coming in. We threw some initial estimates, and Wes was like, yeah, probably in this area for yours, I'd say on average, 1 to 120, 130 a year is what we'd be looking at in cash flow from this property. And I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. But I got some news this last week. Is like he came back to me and he was talking with a few of his other real estate agent friends in the area and doing more research. And he's like, we're going to have it, yeah, of course, on the VRBO, Airbnb sites, but even with a little bit of marketing, based on these other comps and what these other properties are doing, literally less than a mile away, you might be looking at closer to 150 to 200 very easily based on. So if I do some basic math, just to kind of give you an idea, some months typically in Florida from that side of things are going to be a little bit slower. Like, he said like July, August, September typically picks up back in October. And, I factored it out. I'm like, well, even in the super slow months, based on at minimum renting it at $400 per month in a slow month, and I think the high season could be $700 per night for $400 per night, but high season between like I think $500 and $700 per night ish, somewhere around there. I said, well, we got to get 60% occupancy to break even in a slow month. And I wouldn't be worried about getting in the red a little bit anyway in a slow month. However, let's say 60% occupancy, and then I think in the full seasons, we're going to be easily over, 85, 90%. And so I was conservatively estimating it out, and I said, okay, well, 7,500 per month conservatively times 12, that's 90,000 a year. Even if we did, let's say, let's do 130,000, like $40,000. So really, divided by 12, average $3,333 per month cash flow. Like that would be the year average if we did, let's say, $140,000. Now, of course, some months are going to be much higher and it's going to fluctuate, but that'll be about the average. And for that property, I think on a low end, $3,300, that's pretty good for a rental property in a good demand area. It's like a luxury furnishings anyway. So when you see it, and once we close in the deal, I'll be able to show you more stuff. But some months we're going to get, I think, easily over, 8, 9,000 in cash flow just from that one property, which is, again, if you're going to do single family real estate, the unsexy kind, like my wife and I have done for so long, you're not usually going to get those high numbers, but it's going to be very consistent, and you still get the depreciation and principal pay down, like all the tax benefits, the appreciation long term. You also get those same things with the short term rental, but if it's in the right area, you just have a larger potential for cash flow in the short term. If you remember, when Mark Evans was on, he was talking about, yeah, I know a lot of real estate investors, they're equity rich, but they're cash poor. And it's a very similar thing, because you can't, a lot of times, depending on the area that you're in, maybe you're realizing a couple $100 or $1,000 of cash flow per month per property. So, well, if you want to generate an extra, 20 grand a month just from real estate, you might need 20, 40 properties or more to be able to do that single family wise. So I think it's good for diversification purposes, and especially if we lock it in this year, that's going to be some just beautiful accelerated depreciation. So we'll have a ton of tax savings this year anyway. So that's kind of what's exciting me from that standpoint right now, just doing the numbers. And I'm not even including really marketing it like we can do. Wes was telling me Just got a buddy that actually went to our real estate seminar 2 years ago, and they did, they're kind of blowing up a little bit on TikTok, just showing the home, and it's just kind of taken off. And so they're getting a lot of rentals in a similar area. They're a little bit more south, but they're going to reach, I think, like 270,000 in rental income, which is insane for that area. So lots of possibility, right? But I think on the low end, and I always love to be conservative, I think it's going to be a very good investment. So